John Security Man. Big John Security Man. Big John Security Man. Security and safety is his plan. Big John. Big John. Big John.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Big John Security Man. We're glad that you're here because we have a lot to show you today involving personal protection and the 5 to stay alive. They're the most dynamic 5 small martial arts moves without doing backflips or kung fu and all that other stuff that's kind of nonsense. We're going to show you some practicalities of defense moves to not be a victim of a heinous crime. Today, I'm with Tammy, our great assistant. She's also an investigator and an accomplished one at that. But Tammy was kind enough to join us today to demonstrate all these great tactics that we're going to show you. So, without further ado, Tammy is going to go ahead and address Bob because Bob is the aggressor. Poor Bob. Bad Bob. Bob is the aggressor. And what we're going to do is, the first move is, if he is in a parking lot, aggressively after her, wolf whistling her, saying, hey baby, you're coming with me, and then he starts to grab at her unlawfully without good intention, he is violating Tammy's rights. And that means either criminal sexual misconduct, attempted kidnapping, or, God forbid, he wants to drag her off into an awaiting van where she's going to become a secondary crime victim of a very serious and heinous crime. We don't want that, do we, Tammy? You got a lot to live for. All right. So without further ado, we're going to practice. Now, I'm going to give you the disclaimer, is that you're not going to practice these things on your spouse, unless you really hate them. No, I'm joking. You're not going to do this with your cousin, your kid, your neighbor, and say, hello, hey, Jerry, come on over. Big John Security Man just showed me this great move. Not a good thing. If you get a Bob or you want to do small interactions with your spouse or a brother or a sister, whatever, but don't do follow through because don't have your standards of ignorance get involved with hurting somebody. So this is for informational purposes only, and God forbid if you need them, you'll know when to deploy them. So, without any further ado, with all these other kung fu moves and punches and, punches to the chest, and then of course, what women and men often practice is kicks and punches to the actual, crotch area, which obviously everybody thinks when you hit a man, or for that sometimes a woman, because a woman can endure pain down there too. But I'm saying, especially with a man, an aggressor, it's not only wise to do the first move, like old dads taught you in the days, to do the move of a groin strike.
Ouch!
Because Bob here might be tolerant to that pain, which means he's crazy, he's on drugs, he's on opiates, he's not himself. He's going through a bad time in his life. So therefore, hitting him in the groin is not the best thing to do because you might miss, or his tolerance is high with pain. And now Tammy only has the first 1 to 2 moves to get out of dodge against this aggressor. Get away, get away, get away. And I state, when you leave and you exit the situation, don't scream, because when you're screaming, you're going to exhaust your air out of your body, believe it or not, and you're not going to have the momentum or the energy to move. Because once we dispel all the air and we deplete the air, it's going to be harder for us to move. Because stress inoculation and the element of surprise is going to take over her body physiologically. She's going to hyperventilate, her heart's going to really race, she'll have tunnel vision, so she must act and plan accordingly. So when you're going to run without screaming if you can, and then run to an area where it's populated. Then you can scream when you stop, saying, help me, help me, help me. And that's what I suggest. All right, without further ado, we're going to do the first strike. Tammy's going to show you that the best thing, instead of the eye gouges for now and anything, the best thing for her to do is to cut down this guy's ability to breathe. Without breath, he's not going to aggressively get, weird over her, or he's not going to have the momentum to further grab her and pull her into a van or a car, because he's going to be into self-preservation, and he's going to be thinking inside of his head, oh boy, I can't breathe. And he's going to dissipate and stop and say, crap, I'm out of here, I can't breathe, or go down the ground and start panicking. And that's when some nearby person is going to call 911. As long as you're out of Dodge, who gives a poop? He violated you, you're away. Police come, you effectively say what happened, and you communicate with the law enforcement officer effectively. We will cover that on the next episode of Big John Security Man. So, without further ado, what's going to happen is if this guy's coming up on Tammy, and like our other video, if he's coming up on her in her intimate space, remember we thought about the third ring of concentrics? Now he's coming up on her, cut closer, and he won't leave her alone. Hey, I saw you in the store, it looks like you want me. And she's blocked somewhere, let's say in a parking lot or against another car or a wall. She's going to simply take her right strong arm and give him an open jab, reverse like judo chop. And she's going to do it directly to his throat. Other way? Yep, coming up, boom. Now, she's not going to telegraph him all the way over here because he's going to anticipate that. She's going to come up with her hands in the ready, and she's going to strike very firmly and aggressively right to the perpetrator's throat, which means she pops it and the larynx is going to kind of condense, and he's going to say, it's not going to be crushed, but he's going to be like, hey, I can't breathe anymore. It's going to be boom, right there. And when she's doing it, you know why martial arts people, like I'm a second-degree black belt many years ago, and the reason why I say it is that we used to do it, well, it's great to put the momentum in your chest outside real quick without dispelling loud action, because there's files that are going, so what I want her to do is allow stop, so other nearby people hear her. So with your lungs and you're not going to stop with a long scream, but you're going to stop, because you're going to get the momentum of the action to forcefully go into your arm and say, with momentum, stop. Okay, let's come close. Do it again. Let's pretend you're arguing with your husband. Now watch this. Go ahead.
Stop.
There you go. A little more.
Stop.
Okay. Now, you may seem that this is not a lot of momentum. You're like, oh, hell, that's not going to hurt anybody. She just gave about 8 to 10 pounds of pressure to Bob's throat. And let me tell you something. That's all you need, my friends. That's all you need. Remember, we're not going all the way like military war style. That's going to kill him. So we're stopping the threat. We're not trying to kill Bob, okay? We're not, and then, especially when the police come, you say, I tried to kill that son of a, never say those things. Or you never say anything, connotations involving verbal racist things. You never say anything to do with race. It's always, officer, when you're done questioning, I will state what happened. I stop the threat because I had reasonable, definitive belief that Bob here was going to violate my rights. He was possibly going to attack me in order for me to receive a heinous battery or intimate sexual abuse, or criminal sexual abuse, or criminal sexual assault, or carry me off somewhere else. I was afraid for my life. Now, that's why we always say we stop the threat. So again, not like follow through all the way like we intend to kill or destroy Bob. Because now the intent is kind of switched around. And we all know in the popular media today, if you use really aggressive force, you might get in some trouble. But there's nothing wrong, as far as I know, of course, stopping the threat. Even if it's like, stop, okay? We want to put that in there because it only takes 2 to 4 pounds of pressure in the larynx here in order for his windpipe and the muscles in there just to collapse a little bit, causing severe breathing issues. But In 15, 20 minutes, the muscle will relax and he will go back to breathing. But you are a bad boy and you're going to jail. Anyway, we won't get into that. I love speaking to dummies. I'm sorry. I have a lot around me.
Thanks.
So, Bob, not you. Anyway, Bob, we are now going to do we have your consent? All right. Did you sign the waiver? Oh, okay. You're not going to sue me. All right. Anyway. Without further ado, Tammy again. She's going to be like in isosceles, like, hey, the ready stance, but not the aggressive stance, because we don't want Bob to say, oh, this woman knows some type of martial arts. Like right away, we don't want her to go into her karate stance. Go into remember your perpetual karate stance? Remember? Okay? Now, watch on this. This is her right to fight mode. Okay? Remember we went over this with pepper spray too. The thing is, we don't want to go in that mode yet because we don't want Bob to think that she's ready for a fight. That it means that he's ready for a fight. And, you know, with the laws of physics and with determination against Bob, he might win over her because he's, you know, physically more aggressive and has strength. So we're going to use a plan of attack. He's coming up against her. She has nowhere to go. She can't get out. She's against her car. She's against the wall. There's something wrong. She's going to just say, hey, baby, you're coming with me tonight. She's going to give and deliver a stop.
Stop.
Right there. Now, if Bob is in on her, let's just say that she's against the wall. Go ahead, get against the wall. And there's nowhere to go. And he confronts her, like, say, in a bar or a restaurant or whatever. And he's like, no one's going to know. We're in the cellar. Okay, I got you here. I'm coming after you. Now, if he's a large kind of guy like me, I got a pretty big, thick turtleneck I was born with, believe it or not. And I got this turtleneck where they used to call me in high school, no neck. All right, well, anyway, what she's simply going to do, she's going to act responsive like she's into him. She's buying time. Now, I know a lot of personal protection specialists don't agree because they want you to fight, and fight like an animal. And that's true. However, Bob is in the basement. It's hard for anybody to hear. She's alone. It's noisy upstairs. Something's wrong. She's against the wall. What she's going to do is she's going to take her non-dominant hand, which is her left hand, and she's going to say, it's okay, big boy, not so fast. Now, he's got a big neck, right? She's going to come in. Now, with her strong arm, she's going to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Now, believe it or not, you might think that's kind of squirrelish and kind of pansy. No. She's coming up with her hand saying, it's okay, big boy. She's buying time. Now, she's coming up.
Stop.
Oh, now, at that time, she could follow up with an eye gouge. Like, look at that. Now, if she misses, she does an eye gouge again. Now, immediately when he receives that eye gouge, that's not going to be very pleasant because 2 long fingernail thumbs just went into his eyes. He's got a bad day. But she's going to follow up what is called an ear pop. Why? Well, we're not going to use our knuckles and our fists. Why, Big John? We look at everybody fighting with their fists. Here's the problem. If she does use her fists, like say punches them on the side of the head, she might break her fingers. Most people in fights won't tell you this, but when you're fighting, it's very, very, very possible that when you're hitting a jawbone or side of someone's head, your opponent, you can break your fingers. Now she will not be able to perhaps go to the door and try to open up the door real quick to get out with broken fingers.
Yeah, you can.
Ouch, my fingers hurt. Big John, ow, I can't get out the door. Now, if you're carrying a firearm, which today we're not carrying firearms, but if you're carrying a firearm, she may not be able to get to her firearm in time because she's got broken fingers. Or for that matter, how about a phone? Her fingers are broken and she can't dial 911 because she's got broken fingers. So what I like is the very nice thing is your open palm, kinetic energy in the open palm. Believe it or not, there's more energy by you hit an animate force like that. Now listen to the difference. All right? That slap has a lot of kinetic energy, and he is going to wake up and smell the safety, baby. Because when we hit him, whoa, he's going to be, we'll hit him so hard his clothes will be out of style next year. Is that what you're, not really? Okay, I tried. So what she's going to do is, she's going to come up maybe after the eye gouge. Let's do the eye gouge, Tammy. Boom. Now, oh, now that's harder. Stop.
Oh, stop.
Okay, now let's do 2, double whammy.
Stop.
Perfect. Very good. Practice doesn't make perfect, it makes better, remember that. But I'm saying, this combination is great because it rolls. So usually, if she hits stop to his neck, let's say open neck, let's just say that's going to be enough for the aggressor to back off and say, oh, I made a mistake. I had too much to drink, and I'm ungoverned, and I tried to criminally sexually assault you. I'm so sorry. Hey, I'm calling the police anyway, buddy boy. And remember that. Ladies and men, never be ashamed if you're touched criminally, whether it be criminal sexual abuse when someone puts their hands on you, or they squeeze your breasts or thighs or legs. That's criminal sexual abuse. And of course, the dastardly thing of criminal sexual assault is when she would receive a rape, which is very bad. Now, don't ever be afraid to contact the police, the authorities, HR, and tell them what happened. Because sometimes you're so mortified that you don't know how to think straight. And you're like, oh, I don't know what happened, oh my gosh. And then 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, your friend's like, you got to go in. Because the evidence is on her body, whether it be his DNA, his clothing, the articles, fibers. Always do the right thing and report. That's why law enforcement is there. Our tax dollars at its finest. And our finest is law enforcement. The men and women who put their life on the line each day. Support the blue. Support the blue. Getting back to Tammy. All right. So we know those 3 tactics. We're going to do it again. We're going to do the open strike to the throat. Stop.
Stop.
Okay. Now we're going to do a single eye gouge. Okay. Again. All right. Now we're going to do the proverbial slap to the eardrum or the cheek and jawbone with the kinetic energy. I would refer you to get to the ear because the ear will knock off the central nervous system equilibrium. Hopefully pop that eardrum for him never to do that bad stuff again. Anyway, let's do the ear pop single-handedly. 1, stop, ear pop, open strike, good.
Stop.
All right, again.
Stop.
Excellent. See, the good thing about she has her hands in the ready, not making fists, because we don't want to tell Bob that she's ready to go, because we want the plan of attack, the secret plan of attack. We don't ever want her to have fists up, because he's going to do fists, like you're going to like fight him. He's going to, oh, this woman's ready to fight. Well, so am I. Right. We don't want that. We want the constructive deception of her taking it easy, which inside she's really, really upset, and she has to pay attention because this is going to be her life. She's going to bring her hands up like this, kind of like she's ready to receive him and ready to caress his chest and maybe, kiss him, which she's not going to do, unless he's a millionaire, right?
No.
Are you sure?
No, I'm sure.
How about a billionaire?
No.
All right, good. I like your morals. Now, we're going to open up again, and we're going to do 3 strikes. We're going to do 3 combinations just for the heck of it. Let's see if it works. We're going to do 1, 1. Now we're doing an eye gouge. Now we're going to slap her, and she's going to get out of dodge with hands and fingers that can open up the door. Very effective. So I will show you my tactics, that what Tammy did first. Okay, let's just say, hey, hey, do you have a lot of money? No. Anyway, hey, buddy, I didn't look at your girlfriend. I did not do that. You're threatening my life. Oh, you're threatening you're going to shoot me? Hey, I'm up. I can't. Hey, what's the problem? Now he's got his hands on me. Whatever. I'm going to simply just like, if I want to come in here, stop. Okay. Or I could come in and say, pop, pop. Okay, and then get away. Or I could just start to move then and just pop the ear real quick. Okay. Equilibrium. The momentum of his ears. He's going to be feeling little cuckoo birds going around his head. Trust me, doesn't look like much. Well, Big John Huckey, you're a big guy. Punch him. No, I don't. Because I know there used to be a fighter. Look him up on YouTube. This is Boss Rotten. His name is, believe it or not, Boss Rotten. And he was an MMA fighter back in the early 80s when before MMA became a big household name. He fought with open hands, kinetic energy, and he whipped a lot of doobie with it. He was really good. So what I'm saying is, if he's got me against the wall, let's just say, hey, he's a big guy, he's working out, he's younger than me. You know, Big John's, you know, I'm 57 years old, I'm not 25 anymore. And he said, I'll just go, pop, okay? And then maybe just even a push away to his face, okay? That's where, because a lot of kinetic energy comes to his face is, boom, I told him to leave me alone. Now I'm leaving. So his ears are ringing, okay? Push him, or up in his throat, just to buy my time to get away. Remember, get away. Leave. Don't sit back and challenge him more, because now you're gravitating for being the aggressor against an aggressor. Now you're getting into the fight because you're mad. We have nothing to prove here at Big John Security Man. We want to stop the threat and get away so we can live for another day. So those are the moves that I'd love for you to practice on a person superficially, because remember, fast is slow and slow is smooth. Remember that. So a lot of times martial arts say, ha, 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 okay? Yeah, it looks really attractive, you know, like elbows. Big John, how about elbows? You don't have enough time because I might miss. I want to go with the sure thing. Hey man, leave me alone. Okay? Because I don't want to have to twist. I don't want to have to punch it out and maybe miss. I don't have to, you know, kick the guy in the you-know-what. All right? Not good, because I might miss. I don't want to lose time in my effort. At 57, I lose a lot of gas. I used to be a professional kickboxer back in the late 80s, believe it or not. And I was very, very fast. Second-degree black belt, everything. But things slow down over time, okay? You know, it's called fast food. Anyway, so what I'm saying is this. Use your momentum of your hands. Hey, man, I don't want any problems. Hey, man, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to take out this gun and kill you. Oh, man, come on. Boom, 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 open palm, whatever. And then a nice push or push to the face, and I'm out for another day. All right. So let's just say this is going to happen, and a lot of women, a lot of men out there saying, what happens when someone comes up on you, Big John? Someone grabs you by the arms and they put you in a lock hold like this. Well, guess what Tammy's going to do to break out? She's going to do a reverse headbutt, maybe a nice little mule kick there. Now watch what happens when she's going to start spinning her body and breaking loose. Spinning her body, and no, this side. She's going to come up and she's going to, boom, hit me in the head, of course, with her elbow. Let's do that cake again.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and grab her. All right, and then she's going to headbutt me, reverse, boom, do that. Now she's going to come up and reverse her elbow into my face and spin her body and get away. Okay? I know it looks a little choppy, but it does work. All right, so in the serious mode here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take one step. First, we do a grab. Now, she'll do a headbutt. Then she'll do a mule kick if she wants. And then she's going to start spinning with her body. Boom, and do a reverse elbow to my head. That's going to hurt. So, now without the mule kick, let's just say you don't have enough time. So let's just say she's going to reverse headbutt me, which that's going to get my attention and start bouncing off, okay? And then, again, at Big John Security Man, we like to use our bodies as momentum to get speed and strength and to deliver a nice elbow to the side of my head, and now she's going to dissipate and get away and live for another day. Let's do it again. So, for all practical purposes, someone's grabbing her from behind here. She's going to headbutt me. She's going to come back and do that. Okay? Now, I want you next time just to bring in your elbow just a little bit more, not extend it.
Can I go a little harder next time?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yes. Why not? My insurance is paid. Okay, we're going to grab her like this. Your headbutt. She's going to start spinning. Gotcha. All right. That's going to hurt. So, maybe you don't have time for I call it the reverse mule kick, which she'll show you again. So you're grabbing, she's headbutting me, and she's not boom, okay? But any of those in combination will work. But again, you have to understand the deliverance of her spinning with her body is breaking the hold of what I got on her, okay? So it's very good. Or then she can also drop down to her knees by using all her weight and force. So we'll do just a small segment of that. I got grabbing her. Now look, she's going to start, okay, she's going all the way down to the ground. Thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome.
She went all the way down to the ground because I was not anticipating all her weight going down with gravity. So you're buying time and you're using the natural resources of gravity and the energy and the momentum of her physicality. Again, let's just do the spin without anything. So look, I'm grabbing her, and look how if she starts to spin, I'm either, hurting because of the reversed elbow, and she's using the physicality of her body. It's very good. Let's show you another situation. So, let's just say she's against the wall, and she's at some bar or restaurant, and she's coming out of the ladies' room, and some drunk idiot comes up to her, and she's like waiting for her boyfriend to come up, let's just say. Hopefully he's what, 6'10",
Sure.
350 pounds a cop?
Sure.
Whatever. All right, so what's happening is, I put my arm like this, hey, honey, how you doing? And now he's like, hey, you're going to come home with me, I think, tonight. Now he's starting to say, wow, you're not. And as soon as he starts to do something, what she's going to do with this? Come up. She's going to slap me in the side of the head. Boom. And and now she takes the momentum of her strong arm again, and she gets out by blocking or taking out my arm. Now watch this again. Let's do it slow, because smooth is slow. You're going to come up with an open palm. Pow. Okay. And now she's coming over, and she's spinning out. And I'm like, oh, my ear's ringing. Hey, lady, why are you so aggressive? Because you don't have the ability or the momentum to say, hey, it's okay, he was drunk. No. If I'm cornering her, and I'm aggressively coming onto her, and as soon as I start to criminally, sexually abuse her in any way, or for that matter, go to kiss her. Relax, guys. I wish, you're probably thinking you wish you were me right now, but no. If I go to kiss her, I am now bringing on to myself. And but boom, pow. Very, very important to learn. So now, what she could do if she wanted to, she could do an eye gougge single-handedly if she wants. Okay? Boom, ow, and ow. Okay? Or, let's just say she wants to do an uppercut. She wants to do a throat, do an eagle claw, and she wants to do my throat. She can. Boom. You see that? So again, we're going to say stop next time. We're going to be like, okay, great, good iron claw.
Stop.
Boom. Okay? Now, those things will work very well. Practice makes better, never perfect. Remember out there, practice makes better, never perfect. So these are the 5 to stay alive. As you know, they don't look overly dramatic or any Chuck Norris moves or Steven Seagal moves, which, all that in the film is great. Like when you see different things like, okay, that looks great, but it's not effective. Because a lot of those strikes that I just did, let's just say, reverse this, that, all that, all of a sudden, I'm missing half of them. Now, he wants to fight me more aggression. What makes perfect sense? A combination of all these moves, or a simple like, hey, leave me alone. So, let's go over this fact that if someone's at your door, let's say the door is either locked or unlocked, and God forbid it could be an assailant coming to your house, an active shooter coming through doors, I'm going to show you the right way how to blockade a door if you have minimal objects to do so. Sometimes a chair or a desk or even a filing cabinet may not be enough. And I don't want someone to stand in front of the door like this, because the momentum of you trying to secure a door is not going to be great. The momentum of a male subject, if they're forced into the door with all their body weight, he or she may eventually get in. But what I want to show you is a great thing to do. Let's just say there's someone at your front door, side door. Okay, a very quick way to do it is to put your dominant leg and your foot in front of the door at the crack of the door. Okay, then you can put your shoulder in while you're using your less dominant leg as another brace. Remember we showed you like the fighting position? This is a reversal of that. So it's kind of like you look like a football player. You got your shoulder into the door and you have your foot and your shoe right against the door edge down there. And you also have your weak leg bracing into it, and that's a great way to stop the momentum of someone coming into a door. Now you might add, Big John, the door is hollow, it's false, it's not a strong door, or they might break the glass, if there was a glass there, or an active shooter may try to charge in or start shooting through the door, which I'm going to get those bullets into me. Not a good day. Tammy here is going to show you a great trick to use. Let's just say she's anticipating the assailant coming into the door and she has reactionary time to do this. Tammy, if you will. She's going to get down on her hands and knees and then extend her body. Now, security freeze, don't move. What's going to happen, you can see her feet are against the door. Okay, go ahead, put them a little bit tighter. Now, the blockade of her using her legs and her body and her weight is excellent because a lot of door companies now are putting in these door hinge locks at the bottom of the door, like department stores do it and everything like that. So they have them down here because if they're using blunt force this way and they're cranking into the locks, you still have momentum to safeguard the door and to block the door using your weight. Now, I'll show you. Now, move your legs for a second. Remove. Now watch this. Big John Security Man had a lot of hamburgers in my day. So we're going to test the validity of Tammy's legs. Did you pay your insurance?
Yes.
Good. Excellent. All right. Here we go. I'm going to use some momentum. When you're ready.
Okay.
I'm trying to come in, but I'm hitting the big door. Okay, you can stop. See, I'm not using my blunt force down there where Tammy's legs are. I'm using all my blunt force up here. Thank you, Tammy. Did I break your legs?
Nope.
Good. Are they good? All right, well, they certainly look good. Okay, so I'm using a lot of force here. Now, on top of it, God forbid, he or she is shooting into the door. Tammy is not going to be a victim of that because it's very seldom a shooter or assailant or an active shooter is going to point directionally their weapon downward through the door to start shooting down to the floor. They think whoever is blockading the door is doing this with their momentum here in their sternum and their upper cavity chest. Therefore, pop, 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 ouch, I need a Band-Aid, I'm dead. So, the great thing is, if you have time, is to get down on the hands and knees, extend your body. Now, you're against the door with your legs and your feet. You're using the momentum of all your weight down on the floor. Now, an extra added trick would be, I shouldn't call it a trick, I should say a talent, would be if he or she is shooting through the door. Okay, she's down at, next thing I want her to do, she's covering pretty much all of her internal organs. What the fact is that she could get shot in her spine, but it's going to be a lot harder to get to her internal organs. But she also wants to safeguard her head too. So Big John always recommends you make something like this with your fingers in the back of your head while you're down on the ground like this. Why? I know your finger's not bulletproof, but it certainly stops the momentum of an already existing round coming through the door with weaker velocity to hit your fingers, and even if it does go into the old noggin, it's still going to go in there superficially. So, the more blockades there are, the more superficial internal combustion of the bullet. It's always wise, if there's a shooter involved, to put your head down Put your hands over your head like this. Cross your fingers like that. Protect the back of your skull and your brain, because you're going to need that brain. We'd like to thank you for visiting us today at Big John Security Man segment of How to Protect Yourself and the 5 to Stay Alive. Hey, we really appreciate your efforts by watching us. Pass it on, and please subscribe to YouTube, because it really helps us. And also, your commentaries are really, really important to us. Tell us how you feel. Tell us where we're doing right or what we're doing wrong, and maybe we can help you out with your needs. I also want to say, visit us at BigJohnSecurityMan.com. That's BigJohnSecurityMan.com. Thank you very much, Tammy, for your participation today. And remember, your protection is our only concern.
Big John Security Man. Big John Security Man. Big John Security Man. Security and safety is his plan.